When you buy an action figure in a store, there's a good chance that the store-bought figure is not going to have a lot of paint details. When you're looking at the two that are below here on this video, you have a Peter Parker from Marvel Legends and you have a Connor Kent from the McFarlane series. Both have jeans on, and that's what we're trying to figure out how to do this time. We're trying to figure out how to paint jeans. What's the correct and proper way to do it? Because if you look, there's really no color besides the actual base coat color for both of these, where it's just one solid color. And if you wear jeans like I do, you should know that they fade. There are high spots and low spots on there that are going to be where the seams are, where your knees bend, where you sit down, where you crease, that just have natural wear. So unless it's brand new store-bought without any wear patterns whatsoever, it's going to automatically have that. So we're going to try a technique called dry brushing. And dry brushing is basically how to bring out all those highlights of all of these ridges in the sculpt, which are the actual fabric sculpting itself of all of the seams, all of the actual folds of the fabric and everything that is there. We're going to try to make that pop. We want that detail to be visible. So why are we trying to hide that? There's no sense. There's a couple different dry brushes you can actually buy. Army Painter makes this dry brush. It actually looks like a makeup brush. I've stolen makeup brushes from ex-girlfriends, my wife, and whoever else in the past. These actually are way better. They are made for acrylic paint versus makeup. Use these. This is a softer bristle. I like these a little bit better. These are good too. Citadel makes these. They have dry brushes that are just made specifically for dry brushing stuff. So they have different variations of those. This is the same one. Where are we? Try to go through a bunch of these. They make different sizes. Here's a miniature dry brush for a really small one. So the goal here is we're going to apply paint. You can see I've pre-mixed a lighter blue paint over here on the side. It's just regular acrylic paint. It's mixed between a Citadel layer and a game color color too. So the Citadel was a blue. It was very similar to this blue, but a little bit lighter. And then I added white. And I used a matte white from Game Color because I didn't want it to actually be shiny or glossy. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna adjust my lighting first so you can see it a little bit better. And what we're gonna do is we're going to put our paintbrush, the dry brush, in here, but we're gonna scrape off as much of the excess as we can, because we're not trying to layer the paint on, and we're not trying to repaint this whole area. What we're trying to do is just bring out those highlights. So you're just gently rubbing in the same direction over top of all of this stuff. And the paint isn't getting in all the crevices, it's adhering to the top surface of everything. So it looks more like an actual jeans wear pattern. Moving my light to make it a little less harsh for you. There we go. Turning one of the lights off makes it a little bit better. As you can see, we just started. And we're already getting, you can use your finger too to take off any excess when you put too much on. Not a big deal. The goal is to do this throughout the entire area you're trying to cover. So you can see right from where we already started, this thing looks better already. We're hitting all of these areas that we're trying to highlight, and the jeans are actually looking like jeans versus just blue blob paint. See what I mean? So this area here, it's gonna have some dry brushing variation in there, but it still retains most of the original color. And so do these folds that are recessed lower. Now you can see there's way more paint on any of the fold areas because it's catching as we move the brush down. Periodically you have to go back and reapply the paint because we're running low, but then again try to get most of it off because we're not trying to go too heavy on this. The other thing too is this, for whatever reason, this one is super glossy. So going over everything with the dry brush is taking that sheen down a little bit with a matte paint. So everything looks less fake, a little bit more real. The shirt's a matte color. The pants were like glossy. I'm not sure why they did that. You can see with the light, it's so damn shiny. Every now and then I might go into, instead of the downward pattern that we were doing, I might switch it off to a circular thing so I'm hitting all of it. So look, right there, compare that with that was to begin with. This is way different looking already, and we haven't even done a second coat of dry brushing yet. So what I normally do with jeans is we do one with a light blue first, and then after we do the light blue, I maybe hit it in a different direction and not nearly as heavy with white. Now that's going to show. And that's going to show a whole lot better. And look more realistic. I have to move the leg around a little bit in all the joint areas to make sure we're getting all of it. If we don't, then it doesn't look right when somebody moves it around after they buy it. So the knees, look how different that looks. The ankles are good because the shoes are good there, and it doesn't really matter what you're doing there. Look, the shoes are black, and there's not gonna be a lot of contrast there. It's not like you're bending a joint and then it's totally different color like we are with the knee joints. It's totally different color because the shoe is totally different color. So no harm, no foul. But in the knee joint, we want to cover it and make it similar. So I mean, that's it. I mean, that's already way better than it was. Now, of course, you can do whatever you want to do with this. I mean, everybody wears jeans differently too. So if you have that dirtier look to your jeans where you want it more of a darker fade, you can always do a little bit of brown dry brushing in the knee areas and stuff too. It all kind of depends on how your jeans are worn and what kind of wash you have to them. So it's what you want them to look like. I want Superboy to look like he's wearing regular jeans that I would buy myself in the store, so they're going to be dark with a lighter fade. And that is really it. There's not much to it. So then again, you can go back and you can do other stuff. Like, I'll show you just a quick, I'm not gonna do the whole figure, but we're gonna add a little bit of white. So I just put a little bit of white onto the paper palette. Now, same thing, I rub most of the white off. I'm hitting areas that are heavily worn. So all these creases here and the fold lines. This is giving it more texture because now there's just additional coloring. It wasn't there before. We've only used one color, so now we're at two colors with the base coat color underneath of all of it. So this is giving us even more highlights. More variation in the paint. I don't want to go too heavy with this, but I'm putting it on the knees a little bit more because there's definitely going to be more wear in that area. And the folds down below, same thing. So there you go. We have white added to it. And that is how you paint jeans on a Connor Kent, on a Peter Parker, which I'm not going to do today, just so you're not watching a 50-minute long video. But look how different that looks. And they didn't look that dissimilar when we started. You can use this on Mary Jane. You can use this on Peter Parker. You can use this on anybody that has any of these things. I wouldn't use it on one of the suit bodies because suits are a little bit more clean and pristine. I wouldn't do that at all. I'd skip that. This works really great on the Hulk. We have a headless Mr. Fix-It Hulk right here. You could do that. Look at all the areas that actually have that. There is some color variation in this because this was a premium figure, but I think hitting it with a layer of white would bring out some of this stuff nicely, especially around all of the fraying. Not sure why it looks like gray there. It's almost, that's so shitty. All of the fraying around here has a gray paint to it, and it looks like it's the same exact gray as the skin tone underneath of it, and that doesn't really work. So I would do white around the fraying areas around there, and I think it would pop really well. So I might do that one at some point when I redo this figure. So that is how to dry brush and how to paint jeans realistically on Marvel Legends and McFarlane action figures. But this is just a dry brushing tutorial in general. This is how you dry brush. So if you have questions, feel free to write comments below. Please like the channel. I'm going to try to do more tutorial videos as we go so that you guys can see how to paint better as it comes to this stuff. Feel free to ask any questions. Go check out the Komoda Customs Facebook and Instagram pages. There's lots of stuff that's coming out that I've been making, including another big figure that somebody commissioned recently that I didn't expect to ever make, and it's very time consuming, but it's promising and rewarding, and it's very Jack Kirby-esque. So kind of honored to make this one. Thanks for checking it out. Hit like, subscribe, and definitely comment below. Thanks.